During this video, we'll show you how to configure Helix ALM to work with Atlassian's Jira product. Once you've logged in to the Helix ALM Windows client, you can go ahead and select the Tools, Administration, Jira Integration menu option. If this menu option is grayed out, your user security group does not have access or permission to go ahead and configure this specific feature. All you need to do is to enable that permission in your security group setup. Now select the Jira Integration menu item, and what you will find is that you first of all need to enable the Jira integration by checking this box at the top. Now you need to tell us where your Jira instance is hosted. It could be a local instance, as in my case, running on port 8080, or it could be a hosted version of Jira. Now, you've got two options as far as the authentication against Jira. The first is your local Jira user, or you can actually ask Helix ALM prompt you for a specific login at that point in time when the integration is required by simply selecting this little box over here. To verify and test the authentication against Jira, simply hit the test button and it'll come back with a message indicating that the connection was indeed successful. To configure the mapped fields between Helix ALM and Jira, you can go ahead and select the project that'll match the project that you're currently logged onto. In my case, I'm logged into the Sample Scrum project, and I will match that with the Jira project called Sample. I can then select the type of Jira issues that I would like to have available inside of Helix ALM when I'm creating a Jira item. These could be epics, stories, tasks, or issues. I can now go ahead and select the fields that I would like to show and map between the two systems. As an example, I could go ahead and select priority as a Jira field and select a default value for that item. For example, the description field, if I'm creating it from a test run, then I'm going to copy over the test run steps, which I can grab from my field codes over here. For example, if I'm creating a defect inside of Jira from a defect inside of Helix ALM, I can copy over the description quite easily. And I can do the same for any of the other items I would like. I can also copy over the summary as an example between the two items. That way it stops users from having to enter data multiple times between the two systems. And I can configure this for each type that I would like to map to Jira. Now I can press the Save button and the integration has now been set up. To test the integration, I can go to any of the modules inside of Helix ALM, be it the defects or issues, test cases, test runs, or even requirements or user stories. For the most part, the most typical use case would be running your testing inside of Helix ALM. And let's say, for example, we have a test that has failed. I would now like to create an issue inside of Jira. Once the integration has been set up, I can simply open up any item like a defect, a test, a requirement, or user story, and a new button will be enabled at the bottom of the Windows client. As you can see here, it says Create Jira Issue. When I press that button, it'll ask me for my login details, which it will remember for each user. It'll now open up the details and I can go ahead and create the item inside of Jira. I can simply hit the Create button and the Jira item was created successfully and the link will now show up under the Jira tab. If I switch to Jira, I can now see that the new issue has been logged successfully inside of Jira with my summary copied over as well as the test steps copied over to Jira. Of course, this integration also works in the Helix ALM web client. Over here, I now have a user story. And from the Actions menu, I can now go ahead and create a Jira issue directly from this user story. Again, I can select the project, the issue type that I would like to create. In this case, I would like to create a task from a user story. I can select the priority. The description can be copied over if there was any, as well as the summary, and I can simply hit the create button. A vanilla Jira issue was successfully created inside of Jira. And if we switch back to Jira, we'll be able to see all those issues inside of Jira. And there you can see my brand new item has been created inside of Jira.